Welcome everybody. My name is James Hoffey. I'm the North American OEM Sales Manager for high-vis FireTech brand LEDs. Welcome to the BG2 unveiling. We're super excited you guys are here. Can't wait to share the BG2 with you folks. It's been a long time coming. A lot of people have been wanting to see it. We've been wanting to share it with the industry. So we're, again, super excited. So thank you for being on. I'm just gonna be here real quick, warm the seat for Sam and Kaoma. So when they get on, they're ready to rock and roll. Again, thank you for being here. I will be also answering questions. If you guys type your questions down in the chat as this is going on, I'll try to answer them as we go, or we'll try to answer some of them live if we can. So again, take that seat, take a kick back, grab that popcorn, and get ready, because it's about to get heavy. Thank you. See you soon.
Hi everybody, it's Sam from High-Vis LEDs and the FireTech brand. This has been a really exciting year for us. We've been doing a lot of innovation that we were really excited to get to show off at FDIC. Unfortunately, because that thing's been canceled, we've been having to change things up a little bit, and here we're going to show off the FT-BG2 in kind of a unique way. So in just a few minutes, I'm going to roll a tape that's going to show you about the product itself, and then we'll come back and I'll walk you through a few of the features here in the studio. A couple of things I want to talk about real quick are that we've really been in this innovative mindset for the last few years, really trying to understand how can we help firefighters do their job more safely and effectively after dark. And sometimes that means totally reinventing the things that we think we do pretty well already, but that we know we can do better. So with BG2, the FireTech brow light that we're releasing today, we're able to include some new technologies like smart whole apparatus connected traffic directors. You'll see these things going behind me. A more intelligent scene lighting system that puts light exactly where you need it. Doesn't blind oncoming traffic if you set the modes up properly. We're also integrating some new features which make them super maintenance friendly. Of course, we back them with the industry's only lifetime warranty, but they're also super easy to keep in service if you ever do have a problem. Our lifetime advanced exchange warranty is now even easier. So let's roll the tape and then we'll come back and I'll show you more about it. That was so sick. I cannot wait to put these things on trucks and really see them out in the field. So I want to walk through a couple of different features about the product. I'll show you how it's configured, and let's just go ahead and kick things off. I'm going to go through these. As we're going, if you have questions or you have some comments you want to make, throw them in the comments below. We're going to be answering Q&A live right after this kind of show and tell on the different products. And Kaoma's going to be meeting me in just a second to go through this stuff. So let's start with a couple of the functions. So the Gen 2 FireTech brow light system is really more than just a scene light. So when you look at this fixture, it's actually a modular system that mounts on an extrusion where these modules can be anywhere from 1 module all the way up to 19 modules wide. What's really cool is that we've got multiple LEDs on the extruded part. So we've got the scene light section, the warning light section, the floodlight section, and the spotlight section all on the central piece that attaches to this module. And what we're doing is we're sending data to the modules instead of just power and ground. And by sending data to the modules, we can create some really unique design areas so that we really almost treat the lighting environment like a stage instead of just like a fire truck with a bunch of switches. And so sometimes people think, ooh, that might be a little bit confusing. I don't know if I want all that tech. But what's really cool is we've spent the last bunch of years really trying to understand how firefighters use the trucks to simplify the user interface. So when you turn the light on, instead of having to pick, do I want spot, flood, and scene, what do I want? We can say, these are the on modes that you need in these areas, and it just makes it so much more simplified. So let me just show you a few of the beam patterns. I've got the way this thing is set up here in the live demo is the truck is wired to our stage light console, and I'm gonna be yelling back to our stage tech is gonna be able to fire on some different features. And so if you wanna go ahead and fire up the spot mode on both the fixtures, that'd be great. So the top row of LEDs is the spot LEDs, and what you'll see is they project light straight out from the fixture. They're gonna produce a long distance of lighting. And what's really cool is with these modules, you know, the barrier to light output in any fixture is how much heat the housing can dissipate. And so what we've done with this thing is we've added 3 rows of LEDs, which each independently consume as much power and produce as much heat as this housing can dissipate passively. But what we're doing is by turning on the spot row, 100% of the intensity from the spot row is coming on. If we add the other rows, the intensity changes. So what we can do is we can choose the shape of the light without having to choose the volume of light. If we want all spot, 100% of the lumens we're producing are dedicated to the spot. If you want to add the flood circuit, now you'll see this flood circuit comes on. What actually happens is the spot reduces by intensity by just a little bit, and the flood intensity comes on at about 50%. So now the total capacity of the housing is still maximized. We've got half the intensity dedicated to spot, half the intensity dedicated to flood. Go ahead and turn off the spot section, and then turn off the scene section. You see how the light intensity changes there? So now this is all the flood section here turned on. And so as the different intensities come on, each zone is going to increase and decrease in intensity to maximize where light's going to go on the fire scene. Go ahead and throw all 3 on. So now we've got the spot, the flood, and the scene. And what's really cool is because we're using data to control these things, we can turn off and lock out sections where we're doing things like warning lights or we're doing things like marker lights, where in the software program, we can dedicate that module to one specific function. So the whole point of this is that you don't have to sit there and decide, what do I want on my fire scene? I can press the on button and the lights are going to come on and illuminate the area. It makes the most sense to the first responder. Go ahead and kill all these off. So the next cool feature, and you can even turn off the markers. And then once you get those turned off, call for one of the warning modes, pick warning mode 1. So this thing is also designed to be a smart whole apparatus traffic director. So on the front of the cab, you can have things like, this is one of the warning modes, and there's a variety of warning modes built in. You can have these spot sections coming on for traffic clearing. I think I programmed in one of the white light disable or white warning disable. This is going to simulate, you know, in NFPA 1901, it requires a park light cutout or parking brake cutout. So when you put it in park, that'll shut off and you can leave your warning light feature on. This is amber. The future versions are going to be including different color options so that if you need a whole apparatus lighting system, you can have all of that built in. If you want to go ahead and turn all that back off, and then turn on all traffic left. So one of the things that we've been asked for over and over again by first responders is the ability to have a whole apparatus traffic director. So if you look, you'll see the lighting going all the way around the vehicle. So what we're able to do is create a whole apparatus system of lighting technologies, which allow you to pull a truck up on scene. Imagine turning the thing to the left. You're now shutting the roadway off. You're telling traffic, I need to go around the vehicle. But what's cool is the other side of the vehicle can be dedicated to your scene light system. So one half of the vehicle is lighting the incident. The other half is telling traffic, hey, I'm blocked in the middle of the road. It's really important that you don't hit me. And what we know is by having a whole 53-foot long fire truck in the middle of the road with these traffic directors all the way down the side of it, you get more lighting real estate. You don't need more intensity, you need more real estate so you have more focal points to say, this vehicle is giant and it's in the middle of the road, please don't hit me. What's really cool is we know that warning lights aren't the only way to let drivers know that there's a truck in the middle of the road or there's first responders on scene. And we've partnered with a company called Alert, which creates these digital alerting systems which allow these fixtures to transmit digitally to vehicles in traffic and tell them, hey, there's a big vehicle in the middle of the roadway. It's a really cool technology. For more information about them, check out hossalert.com, but it's built right into some of the smart versions of the FireTech brow light. So I want to show you a couple of other things. If you want to just put these back on center out, that'll be fine, and maybe turn on the spot section just for good show. What I want to show you here is there's a few different extrusions. And so the way these things actually mount on the truck is you choose the extrusion that matches your cab. And at the end of our video, we're going to show you a link to our new 2020 catalog. And we've got all these things laid out. But there's basically between 9 and 12 different extrusions depending on the cab style. But they've got different radiuses for different cabs. There's a 2-inch, a 3-inch, a 2 3/4 inch. There's bowed extrusions, there's straight extrusions. But what's really cool is that these fixtures produce an asymmetric beam of light. So the light goes down and out. And so when you have the brow light mounted on the leading edge of the cab, that down light projects directly in front of the truck. You get way more light in the area in front of the truck. This middle section only collimates light vertically. it's going to go straight out and straight out, but it's not going to go down. We're letting that bottom row do that, and the top row shine straight out. So when you choose the mounting extrusion, you attach it to the cab almost like a glove, then the module attaches to the extrusion, and you make them the whole length of the truck cab or whichever area you're trying to illuminate. You can do as small as 1 module and as wide as 19 modules, and using a variety of these different extrusions, each cab style has its own bracket, so then the thing is designed to match exactly on the leading edge of the apparatus cab. So I think the other thing to touch on is, with this system, one of the things that we've heard from our customers, especially large fleet customers, is that continuity of apparatus and keeping the trucks in service is really important. And having one module in multiple locations around the apparatus allows large fleets to keep their warranty inventory or just their inventory of spare parts down. So our parts are guaranteed for the life of the apparatus, but some customers still like to have parts on the shelf, and that's fine. But if they want to have just one module, it doesn't matter where the module is on the fire truck. If you've got a forward-facing scene light or a side light or the back of the truck or anywhere on the fire truck, it's the same module. So you can take one module, keep it on the shelf, and if you ever want to put one on a new truck, you're going to replace one because the guy's banged into something, it's really easy to do. You can do it without having to pull the truck out of service. So like every FireTech product, the last thing I'm going to talk about is our warranty. We've got an advanced exchange lifetime warranty of the apparatus. So as long as this thing's in service, it actually doesn't matter who owns it. If it's on a fire truck that's being used for first response somewhere in the US or around the world, we'll exchange this thing as long as the truck's in service. So I'm going to throw it over to Kayama, and I'm going to meet her at the table, and we're going to take some Q&A from our customers that have been asking stuff so far. All righty.
Hey, hey.
Man, that thing is so cool. I absolutely love showing this thing off.
exhausted?
And it is like, yeah, it's been lots of years of work, and it's also been just this whole release process has been something that, yeah, it's just definitely been very different. We had planned for FDIC, and naturally, of course, like FDIC being canceled it was so hard for us, just obviously, because we had to figure out what are we going to do to get this thing live in front of everybody. So thank you, everybody, for joining.
You have some up dog on your shirt.
Oh, what's up, dog?
I'm done with you. First of all, congratulations. I know this has been your brainchild for about 2.5 years now, but it's probably also the worst kept secret, but it's exciting to finally do it here today with all of our team and everybody joining us online.
Yeah, definitely.
A few questions came in before the pre-release and then during the release as well, so
Cool.
You're in the hot seat.
All right, throw them to me. What you got?
What colors are they going to be available in terms of the housing?
So housing, this is actually a very interesting question because one of the things that we kept trying to figure out was we had customers that wanted these primer finish fixtures, and what's difficult is the lenses attach these things right on the outer edge of the fixture, and so offering a primer coat like we do on our other fixtures isn't really practical. It may be something that comes down the line, but today they're available in black and white, and then if you want to do something special, then there's a process we can do to kind of understand what the color is and how we can do it. So it's not totally off the table, but we want to be really careful when we're working with the apparatus manufacturers that we don't overcommit them because a lot of times in order to do that will take so much time it would delay the lines at the factories. So right now, black and white. Maybe in the future something will come. Give us the comments, shoot us an email, let us know, and we'll if that becomes something people want, then we may add some other colors. We may even do some standards like a standard red or a standard something else as well.
Cool. You mentioned during the release that the fixture produces about 60,000 lumens, but we educate people all the time about more light is not always better. So is there a way to dim it or utilize it in that way?
Yeah, so hold on, I'm gonna grab something real quick. I've got these two little props. So obviously this is the fixture module, but what's cool is these modules, I talked about a second ago, but the modules are designed so that they always produce the maximum amount of light that the housing can dissipate heat-wise. But what's cool is we also have the ability to reduce intensity in each circuit. And so we had a customer ask us the other day about doing glow mode and go mode. And glow mode would basically use just this downward asymmetric optic to light in front of the vehicle, or, so I almost whacked you in the head there, or like on the side of the vehicle. So you can do it like this, you can do it on the side. And so you could put it on, say, at like 10% intensity, just shining down in the area in front of the vehicle. So like, a lot of times it's just a call in the middle of the night, maybe in a nursing home or somewhere that's not necessarily mission critical if it's a transporter. It's just something we've been banged out and it's, okay, we get here, the building's not on fire, or maybe doing mop up. I just want a little bit of light so I can see. So glow mode, you could set this thing up so that you have like 10% intensity of the asymmetric downlight, but then you turn around and it's like, uh-oh, the building's on fire. Bam, you hit a button and you have 60,000 plus lumens of light right at your fingertips.
Awesome. I'm glad you brought that over because you mentioned before that there's specific extrusions for the front of the cab.
Yeah.
But you also mentioned that it's a whole apparatus system. So how do we lay it out on the side of the cabs and the side of the body?
Yeah, actually, I should have mentioned that before. Sorry. So great question. We have a few different styles. Obviously, those radius extrusions match really well to the radius profiles of cabs. And I talked before about how it fits on the cab like a glove. And that's really because a lot of times customers don't think through, like, do I need to specify the mounting bracket? But because each cab is different, each cab has some unique different mounting requirements. And so on the cab of a truck, we tooled all those extrusions, but on the sides of the vehicle, it's equally as important that this fixture can be installed on an aerial on the side. This is what's called a T90 because it's a top mount 90 degree. It mounts right on the edge of the vehicle. It's got a little lip so it tips over the edge. So all the way down the side of the vehicle, this gives you no profile hanging off. But if I grab, this is another extrusion. So this is the D90. I'm gonna mess up the framing here, but let me just show you. So this module can slide into the D90 bracket, and this D90 bracket stands for 90 degrees, or D90. So then it sits on the side and it kind of overhangs. So lower profile applications, this works really well all the way down the side of the vehicle. The T90 works well if it's a step side, if you're really trying to keep the fixtures kind of out of the way of brush and stuff on the sides of them. But there are a bunch of options for a variety of locations on the cab. Settle these back down. And yeah, so really what we envision is, because it's a whole apparatus system, the goal is that you can replace a whole grouping of products that you might have cost and warning lights, cost and scene light, cost and traffic director. You can put one grouping of systems on the vehicle all the way down the side of the vehicle. And people have asked me, well, yeah, but if you have traffic director and scene light on at the same time, isn't that gonna be a problem? But what's really cool is because each module is its own individual node and it's got its own ID, we can say these 5 modules are warning modules, these 5 modules are scene modules, and they won't necessarily overlap each other, so you can still have dedicated fixtures if you have to use both. But a lot of times people think about lighting systems and they say, oh yeah, scene lights, you have to use them during the night. But because the system is on the vehicle, if you're spending all that money on scene lighting on your fire truck anyway, half your calls are gonna be during the day. So you may as well have some fixtures you can use, turn the whole truck into a whole apparatus traffic director during the day, and at night maybe you cut 2 of the 3 modules into scene lights because they're so bright, and the rest of it's your warning system. Or maybe you're way off a beaten path and you don't need all that warning lighting all the time. You fire up some of those modules as scene lights. And that's something that, as we're working with folks to lay out their apparatus, we've got some really cool, we just hired a gentleman that's gonna be starting in a couple weeks to help us really dial in those fit out guides that we do for customers. So you'll be able to send us a drawing and we can go through and say, all right, on this area is an R2 extrusion, on this area is a D90, on this area is a whatever the other extrusion is, and then lay out that whole system. It's really gonna require a little bit of this back and forth with the customer, similar to like how you sit down and pre-con a fire truck. We're gonna be able to sit down and pre-con this lighting system to say, how do you use it? If you're building a pumper, it's gonna be very different than a rescue, and if you're building an aerial, it's gonna be very different again. So we'll have the applications engineering staff here in the facility. Right now I'm doing it and a couple of our other staff are doing it, but we're expanding that team because we know this product is gonna be something that's pretty exciting.
So in a practical sense, the way we're going to use this is, say you pull up on an MVA, there's a car off in the ditch. If you put your truck on one side, you would make one side the traffic director, the other side your scene lighting.
Exactly, yeah, and so basically we have, the whole side of the rig on either side. So typically in a car accident type situation, you would have half the truck, because you're angling across the road, half the truck is facing the incident, half the truck is facing traffic. So you don't know which way of the road. You may come up the wrong way and come across. So we'll have a button panel that you'll be able just to tap the, I want left side to be scene light, right side to be traffic director, and it's really super simple. So that's in our BG2S, the smart version. And for customers that want a more simplified approach, we have the standard version as well, where you just need a super high-end, super bright LED scene light, and the FireTech BG2 system also works really well if you don't want all the complexity and you just want, I need on and off.
Cool. For any department, or especially the big fleet customers who want to have a spare module on the shelf, does it have to go back in the position of the one that had something go wrong, or do they know where they are?
So the modules don't self-ID today, but that's one of the features that we're building into the system. So you can just plug it in and it will self-address. Today what we've got is a little handheld module. You plug into it, you tell it, okay, you're number 5 in the line, and then you just plug it in and it's done. It's super quick. If folks are interested in having kind of some spare parts on the shelf, the reliability testing we've done, these things fit in with every other product we build, where we're like, 1 in 1,000 parts we typically see are likely to experience problems. So not to say you wouldn't be the customer that, first one that gets 10 of them to go out, but the robust engineering built into the fixture should make them fairly reliable, but naturally either it's gonna get whacked into something or you might be the first one to have an issue, and we wanna make sure we're prepared for all situations.
So ready to go today is what versions?
So we can ship today the scene light version, which is all spot, flood, scene, and marker. We can ship today the smart version, which is spot, flood, scene, marker, warning, traffic director, all the functions that I showed a minute ago. What we're adding in the next 2 months, this will be completed, will be the multi-light fixture grouping, where when you want the whole side of the truck to flow along, right now they'll do like marching ants, and the system being linked to each other, the firmware is finished. We're just finishing the last couple of debugging steps to make sure it's ready to go. So then fall of this year, we're gonna add multicolor warning lights, which is a really cool feature that there's some NFPA compliancing and there's some other compliancing that we want to figure out. And in order to be fully ready for the market, we know that the NFPA standards are likely to change, and we know that there's a lot of things happening in the warning space. And so what we're doing is tooling these products so that as new feature requests come about, we can add them to it. But today, we can do all scene, all spot, all flood, marker light. We can do the connected fixtures where they have traffic directors and that smart Haas alert tech, which I think is really super cool. And then we can also do, that system can be upgraded. So if you put it on your truck, because the hardware is complete, it's just a software upgrade, and we can make them all link together. So there's little wireless modules on board the fixtures today. So if you're interested in putting something on your truck, we know the build time is so long that you can spec the parts. The truck manufacturer won't have to order something different later. The truck is ready to go, and we can update software and add new features kind of as these things come out. So it's really cool.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. If you have any follow-up questions, feel free to shoot us an email at sales@highvisleds.com.
In follow-up, the FireTech product catalog 2020 is finally ready. So big shout out to Kendra, our graphic designer, that really knocked that out of the park this year. It was a big project getting this BG2 system added to that product catalog, and that will be available. We're going to send a follow-up email out to those of you that registered on our website. But we'll also have, in just a second, if you want to go ahead and change the source, put up the screen that has the, this is our QR code. Feel free to scan this. You can download the catalog here, and that should be good. So for High Vis LEDs, I'm Sam.
I'm Kayoma.
We'll
Thanks so
catch you
much.
later.